playing games is nice, but playing with friends will always be a great time. Hey everyone, welcome to 90s Nostalgia. Here are 10 multiplayer games that were a blast to play in the 90s.
You win.
We'll be limiting each entry to one game per franchise. That being said, let's get started. Number 10. Mario Party 3. You can't have a party without friends, but when it comes to Mario Party, you're basically preparing yourself for broken friendships from the get-go. While yeah, you can have a great time through a seemingly endless array of party games and an unpredictable player lead that pretty much means anyone even at last place has a chance of ultimately winning in first, it will definitely test your sympathy towards people. Just don't blame us if certain players ghost you after losing. You've been fairly warned. Number 9. Crash Team Racing. While the original Crash Bandicoot trilogy had no trace of multiplayer integration, Crash Team Racing brought friends together when it came to the PS1's multiplayer lineup. With an easy learning curve and very intricate game mechanics, it's a good time for those who are trying the game out for the first time, and those who keep trying to find ways to master the game decades after. Number 8. Super Smash Bros. We've mentioned this game before in one of our lists, and it still holds up as one of the best 90s games, as well as one of the best multiplayer games in that decade. Play as any of the game's varied selection of Nintendo characters, and have a great time knocking your friends senseless in a frenzy of combos, items, stages, and references representing the entirety of Nintendo's early legacy. Definitely one you shouldn't skip out on, especially if you're curious overall. Number 7. GoldenEye 007. Arguably one of the best first-person shooters on the N64, but undoubtedly the best multiplayer shooter on the system for sure. GoldenEye remains on the top of many's list thanks to its super fun multiplayer mode, where up to 4 people can play against each other in a limited arena filled with plenty of opportunities to strike or outplay your friends at any given moment. There's even cheats to mess around with if you want to make the matches just a bit more interesting. Number 6. Mortal Kombat 2. We can't talk about multiplayer games without at least mentioning the iconic Mortal Kombat series. What better game to highlight than the second entry, Mortal Kombat 2? The classic fighter has plenty of combos to master, a memorable cast of characters to select from, and most importantly, tons of gore and graphic finishers to really seal the deal when you beat one of your friends in a 1v1 fight.
Fatality.
There are those people who constantly pause the game to look at the combo list. Yeah, try your best to get around that one if you can. Number 5. Kirby's Dream Course. Not your typical Kirby game, but it proves to be an insanely fun time when played with a close friend. A unique take on the concept of something like minigolf, Kirby's Dream Course has you attempt to get your puffball to the goal with as little turns as possible, while also scoring as much as you can in the process. With precise trajectory, tons of obstacles, a variety of courses, and plenty of ways to sabotage your friends in the process, you're definitely in for a real treat. Number 4. Mario Kart 64. Of all the racers the 90s had to offer, none can compare to how crazy fun Mario Kart can be. Once the series made its way to 3D, it was undoubtedly improved with how much more could be done on the track, especially when you group together up to 4 players for a ton of fun and unpredictable victories. Aside from races, there's also a battle mode, featuring the famous balloon battles that have you eliminate other players' balloons until one is left standing. Or driving? Careful, this one can also result in broken friendships. You've been warned once again. Number 3. Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. While Street Fighter 2 started off the 90s strong, the series capped off the 90s with a spin of their third entry, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. This is the fighting game of all fighting games, inspiring many Mugen-styled fighters even to this day. Street Fighter has always been about the intricate combo system, while also being known as the grandfather of button mashing, and of course, you can't have a frustrating versus match without the infamous move spamming. You know who you are. Street Fighter's art style and flair is definitely what makes it stand out amongst many, so if you're looking for a good 90s fighting game, this is definitely the one to try out first. Number 2. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. The world's famous Blue Hedgehog did launch in 1991 with its first game, but many started out with the sequel as their first true taste of the series, thanks to it being bundled with the Sega Genesis during its launch. This was also the first ever 2-player Sonic game, letting you play against a friend as Sonic and Tails as you race through memorable zones in the game, including ring collecting challenges and special stages. Aside from that though, a second player can also take control of Tails in the single player mode, being pretty much invincible and able to respawn almost immediately. This allows players who aren't so good at Sonic games to at least have fun with their friend or loved one as they blaze through each zone. Number 1. Counter-Strike. Capping off the decade as well as our list with what's considerably the most important online shooter the 90s had to offer. Counter-Strike revolutionized the way we play multiplayer shooters as a whole, especially given how it launched exclusively on PC. What makes this game stand out overall is its gameplay and premise. Teaming up 5 players against an opposing 5 players as each team tries to eliminate the opposing team until they win enough rounds before the other side does, ultimately winning the match. With many online servers being down after so many years, it can be a bit tricky getting this one up and running, but to those that somehow can, kudos to you. Playing with your friends and loved ones really is a different experience than playing a game on your own, but what do you think? Did you enjoy our list? What other multiplayer games did you enjoy playing? Share it with us in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe to 90s Nostalgia so you can keep up with our wide array of countdowns regarding everything 90s. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch y'all next time.